104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, once again in the studio this morning with Kyle Wiley Pickett, the conductor for the Springfield Symphony Orchestra. And the reason I brought him in this morning was so we could talk about the Ozark Mountain Daredevils playing with his symphony orchestra. So I'm extremely excited about that.
This is pretty cool.
So what's your involvement? Have you been kind of like looking at some of the songs you're going to use and help orchestrate them? What's your involvement?
So I've been involved since the very beginning of this project. They came to us and talked about this as a possibility, and I've done some other pop things with, symphonies and pop artists. And so the trick for that is always in the orchestrations. Mm-hmm. And so I've been working with their orchestrator from the beginning. I mean, he's doing a great job. And so, he'll run stuff by me. He's like, okay, which instrument do you have for this? But he knows the orchestra. He knows the Daredevils. And so a couple weeks ago, put a whole stack of the charts in front of me, and we went through them, and they're looking good.
That's awesome. It just blows my mind because, the Daredevils they're an Ozarks band, right?
Yeah.
But they're elements of country, bluegrass. Yep. I mean, jazz in some cases and some of their stuff too, which I always loved about them because they were... You use the word progressive for bands like Yes and Pink Floyd and stuff like that, but really you could say the same thing about the Daredevils in the sense of what the roots music that they used to be progressive with that.
Yeah.
And just the idea that them playing with the symphony all these years later just blows my mind.
Well, a couple of those guys they've been coming to the symphony regularly for years.
Yeah.
And, how can you not be a fan of the Daredevils and then to find out that they've come to the symphony is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, this is a neat project. Whenever we do these kinds of things, you're fitting a round peg into a square hole a little bit, right? Because the orchestra is not a rock band, or whatever, however you want to classify the Daredevils, country rock band, or,
something like that. Yeah. But even then, you put an orchestra with a bluegrass band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be even more tough.
And I've done that too.
But possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And it just takes someone who really has a good ear. The orchestrator has to have a good ear for a sound, kind of a sound palette. A sound. I mean, think a little bit about Phil Spector. Not too much about him, but the whole wall of sound thing that he did, and think about the way that the Beatles used strings behind them, how Motown used horns behind them. I mean, so someone who has an ear for the sounds of the orchestra can incorporate them really well. And our orchestrator's got a great sense of that. And so it's going to be a cool project.
It is. And it looks like the response from the community has been pretty incredible because you pretty much sold out one night and then they're like, we're going to have to do another one. Were you surprised about that?
Well, we were not surprised. I mean,
kind of expected.
We were pleased, but we announced the September 10th show and it just went like that.
Yeah.
And it went faster than we were expecting. I was expecting to sell it out. So we just immediately opened up the next night.
Yeah.
So
we got
sense. A show the next night too. And so there's still a couple tickets to the 10th, but there are some tickets left to the 11th. I mean, you can get tickets. If you want to go on the 11th, you can get tickets for sure right now.
And that is online in our concert section at 1047thecave.com or the box office or Springfield Symphony Mo.
Springfield Symphony Mo. And go to the website, and then you can see all the information.
Yeah. So get them. And hopefully we'll be talking sooner in September when you get back from your little vacay. But I wanted to get this out there as soon as possible.
It's a cool way to start off our year.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a great time. And we're real proud to partner with you guys on it and get this stuff out there because I think it's going to be a blast. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see this. If you're a Daredevils fan, trust me, you've not seen this before.
You haven't seen this before?
Kyle, thank you so much for coming in this morning,
thanks.
sir.